attention within your circles, which postulates that it might be necessary under some circumstances to push the relevant rate, the federal funds rate, to negative 2%, negative 200 basis points to recover from a recession. How do you reckon that? I mean, 200 basis points negative is pretty serious business.
Well, that's true, Bernie. Let me explain, because that comment was based on the following facts. Real longer-term interest rates in the developed world have fallen from an average of around 4% to 0% since the mid-1990s. So that the long-term bond rates in much of the developed world have come down close to zero. And if you look in the United States since 1960, there have been 8 recessions, and you can look at the short-term interest rate relative to the long-term interest rate in the recovery from those 8 recessions, and you can see how far below the long-term rate, let's say the 10-year rate, the Fed had to push the federal funds rate in those recessions. So in 8 of those recessions, the Fed had to push the short rate 2.5 percentage points below the long-term rate. Today, the 10-year rate in the United States is 1.5%. So that's where I get my make my basic point that it seems at a minimum, if we were to recover from the next recession with the 10-year nominal U.S. Treasury bond at 1.5%, the Fed likely would have to push the federal funds rate to minus 2% or minus 1%. In 5 of those recessions, the Fed had to push the federal funds rate 3.5 percentage points below the 10-year bond rate. So if that happens this time around, we would have to push the federal funds rate to minus 2%.